Hey, this is Lindsay, and she's going to demonstrate for us what a wig wrap is, and I'm going to talk you through it. So we're going to start with bobby pins, okay? Not the hairpins, the bobby pins. All right, so what you're going to do is put 6 different pin curls in your hair to start with. And the reason I do it this way, or Lindsay does it this way, is so it makes quick changes really easy, and anyone can help you with your quick changes because they'll know where the pins are instead of just having them randomly shoved in there and having random pin curls. So we start at the top of the head. We're going to start at 2. Basically, if you draw a line from your pupil up to your your head, to your hair, that's where those pin curls are going to start. And you are going to wrap those curls towards your face. Instead of going back away, you want them towards your face. That way, when you put those bobby pins in, it'll lock in place instead of sliding back. We don't want the pin curls to slide, so we wrap them going towards the face. Then you're going to take a bobby pin and you're going to stick it in, and you're going to make an X on the top of that pin curl. We also take the curve of the bobby pin, that curved edge, and that goes down towards your head. Okay, that way there's no little pin ends sticking up through your wig cap when you're done. You don't have a lot of little bumps. And you can even go so far as to kind of bend the flat edge a little bit so that there's not as many little pin bumps coming through your cap. And that way your cap won't rip quite as easily. Now, one side is always harder than the other. So if you have a friend that can help you get that other side rolled towards your face, and again, we're going to create X's so that, and you can kind of even push on that pin curl and it won't slide. So that way it's right up there next to your hairline. You don't want it to be over your hairline. You want it to be right there on your hairline. All right, the next 2 pins are going to go right over, like right at your temple. And basically they're all about 4 finger width apart, or if you have a smaller head, it's going to be less than that. But right kind of over your ear. You don't want it to be down so far that that it's hanging into your into your face. Yeah, so you want it kind of right there. If you have thinner hair, you're going to take more hair. If you have really thick hair, you're going to take less hair. Usually it's about a 1 square inch on your scalp. But like I said, if you have really thin hair, it's going to take more than that, just so you don't want it to pull. You don't want them to hurt. So you want enough hair that when you anchor that wig in there, it's not going to be super painful. Now, they're always a little bit painful, especially for those of us who have tender heads, but it should help not be quite so painful if you've got pin curls in there to really anchor the wig on.
And good idea. If you already know you're going to probably, and you end up with a headache from headbands, like me, just, maybe go ahead, take a Tylenol, take an ibuprofen, 30 minutes before you put your wig head on, or your wig wrap on. Don't be a hero. You'll be fine.
No one wants a hero.
I want you to survive and be able to
Take the medication.
do your job.
No, there are lots of theater heroes. Just don't be a martyr. That's a good term for it. Don't be a martyr.
We like heroes. Don't.
Don't suffer needlessly.
There we go.
Also, your scalp shouldn't bleed doing this. I have had people that have done them so tight and put, like, no, we will help you find a different way, a better way for it not to happen. All right, the next 2 go right behind your ears. If you can kind of see, they're going to go right there behind, towards the bottom of your ear. And you're going to take that again, about a 1 inch section, and you're going to roll it towards your face. And then pin those in. And again, the pins are going back. You don't want to pin, the pins go back away from your face. The pin curls go towards your face, so the way they kind of lock. If you try to do the pins the other way, when you go to put a wig on and pin the wig in, it will slide back. And we don't want wigs slipping off on stage.
Probably not.
Now, if you have really short hair, you can get those little clear elastics and do this, but just with little ponytails, so that you have something to pin the wig into. So that's one way to do it, where you would just put little tiny ponytails where we are putting the pin curls. All right, there's one more pin curl that you can do, so it technically is 7, but in doing that, it's right there at the base. Now, if you are wearing a long wig that is not going to come off or come up, you don't have to do this one, okay? It's a little bit painful back there. There's a lot of little baby hairs, so I only do it if you're gonna be dancing hardcore, doing flips, or your wig really is not stable, and then you would put another one right there on the back. Okay?
Updos that are tight, ponytail for some reason, then, but
yeah. All right, so now we're gonna get all of her masses of hair up into this. Now, you can braid, you can do a braid. But the way we're gonna do it gets you down, yeah, you can just twist it up.
Braid it to the side.
Braid to the side, you can just twist it up and pin it in there. Now, the way we're gonna show you is a way so that you don't have 50 billion pins in your wig, and also it lays the flattest to the face. So first we're gonna start out and we're gonna separate our hair into 2 sections going diagonally across the back of your head. So you're gonna start at one, yeah, there we go. You're gonna start at one side and then go diagonally up to the other side, okay? So she'll do it real quick. Okay, and she's gonna take that bottom section and she's gonna start wrapping it around her head. Now you can, and now you're just gonna secure it kind of wrapped around your head like that with bobby pins, okay? And however many pins it takes to get your hair up. Now, this isn't gonna stay, you want it to stay up, but the cap is going on top of this, so it doesn't have to be so well pinned that it's not going to budge, okay?
The wig cap will do the holding.
Yes, the wig cap will hold it all into place. This is basically to get it as flat as you can so that the wig cap can come over it. So now you're gonna take the top half and just keep wrapping it around your head so that it lays nice and flat, okay? And it's still, especially if you have really curly hair, this is still not gonna be super flat. That's what a wig net and a wig cap is for, okay? So you can see it's kind of nicely wrapped around her head, but the pins are kind of every which way, and that's okay, all right? Now, we're gonna skip a step that we sometimes do, okay? Sometimes we use wig nets, which, that's the little net that the hair, the ladies wear, the lunch ladies wear, okay? Those, you can, especially if you are really tender-headed. If you are very tender-headed, I would use a net. And what you do is you put the net in, and then you pin it with hairpins into those pin curls, and we're going to show you that in the next step. It's the same as if you do a cap. But then what you can do is kind of gather it and smoosh it around and keep pinning it tighter and tighter, especially with curly hair, to make it lay as flat as possible before you put the net on. But the cap on. Net, cap, too many words. So now we're going to put the cap. Now, this is where, if you have a buddy, use a buddy. And what you're gonna do,
if you're ever dealing with me and I'm like, can you please be a unicorn for a moment, and I ask you to, this
yes.
is why.
Yes, so you put 2 fingers here in the front. We're gonna get the cap like this and hold that cap right there in the front.
I'm going to lose a couple of my little tiny pieces.
We're gonna lose tiny pieces, and that's okay. But that way it's down far enough and you don't have to deal with it keeps sliding back further and further and further, okay? So now, once you get all of your little pieces tucked up, you can use the end of a comb, like those, it's called a rat tail comb, but the one with the little pick pointed end, and kind of get all of the little baby hairs up. And now you're gonna slide that cap back to your hairline, okay? Especially because you're wearing lace fronts, and those lace fronts are gonna lay right there on your hairline. So you want It's going to lay right there in front of those pins. You can kind of see where the pins are. These are where your pin curls are. So that's where you don't want it to slide over those. Okay. So now you're going to take a hairpin. Now, those hairpins are going to go through the wig cap under your pin curls. Okay. So you're going to poke it through and then put it under. So it's poking through the cap and going under that pin curl. And you're going to do that in all 6 pin curls. This side one, especially, you want to make sure that you have something to pin those little ear tabs down on. So that one gets a lot of use. And actually, you can kind of move the pins around if you need to different spots, depending on how it pulls your hair. Okay.
That one, for example, just got me funny. Just felt weird. You don't have to just leave it. Take the pin back out, move it around, find a place where it doesn't feel like it's pulling at your very soul through your scalp.
Yes. There you go. And then we're gonna put 2 in the last one. The last 2 pin curls, or 3 pin curls if you have that bottom one. Now, if you do that bottom one, if you need it, you want to make sure that you kind of do a sideways X instead of X, so that you're not stabbing the back of your skull every time you bend your head.
So, we did the other X's like this. For the one in the back, you would want it
like that. Yes.
Not here. You will poke your neck here.
We don't want anyone to stab their skull. So that's the wig cap. And so then...
And one thing I have been known to do with mics that do not have clips on them is, if you know where you want your mic, you trail the cord, and these little lovely pins I can put through the cap with the cord running through the pin to keep the cord where I want it.
Yes.
So if it's a mic cord that doesn't have the clips already in it,
yes,
use pins again.
So now when you go to put on your wig, you're going to put it on, and then you're just going to take those hairpins and pin through the wig down into those pin curls. We're not going to, if you stick them back here, that's not going to hold it on, because those are going to slide around. So you want to stick them into pin curls and into those, what we call anchors. So that way it will stay in place the whole time as you're tapping, dancing, doing all the things you need to do. All right. Thank you for listening to us.
All right. And then, just in case you want to see the final step, here we have a lace fronted wig. So what you're going to do is, for some wigs, you may want that person holding sort of in the front. So with a wig cap, you're under clinging. With the lace front, they're just placing their finger and pressing. There we go. There's words. So there we go. So
grab those ear tabs.
Say, where is the ear tab on this thing? I have to start this one over, because heavens.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right.
I'm gonna grab that ear tab. That'll also, those ear tabs will help you know if your part is straight, whether it's a side part or a center part, and all of that fun stuff.
Lovely. So then you're taking these same wig pins, finding where those anchor points were, and just sliding
through the wig.
Through the wig. And this may take you a second. It's okay. It's going to feel terrifying at first.
Yeah, but that's why it's really important to use wig pins for this. Use hair pins and not the bobby pins, because the bobby pins are so thick. They're gonna, number one, have a hard time going through, but also it'll rip the lace on the wig.
And these also, sometimes you will find these U-pins that have the little like bumpers on the end. They'll have little round dots. They can work, but not great. You kind of need the ones that don't have the dots, because that's what's going to go through the lace without stretching the holes of the lace. So you would just do those.
Yep, in all six places.
As you were.
Now, if you're doing really quick changes, and say you have longer hair, or you can just do the front 4 and don't necessarily have to do the back, especially if it's a really fitted wig. It'll stay in place with just those front 4 if you need to.
Yeah, so sort of as each wig fits on you and what you're doing in the wig, I'm never going to pin a wig down quite as hard if I'm just waltzing across stage walking or if I'm having to run, or I've never had to do a cartwheel, but if I did.
All right.